Hey everyone, Jeff Gott from MSWorkouts.com. I hope each and every one of you is having an excellent start to the week. Now today, I want to answer a couple comments that a few of you had this last week. Now before I do so, go ahead and make sure you make a comment and leave your questions regarding either this video and the exercise this week and or general exercise questions while living with MS. Now, before I get into the exercise for the week, the questions that I did address via our Facebook group as well as want to share here with you now. So first one is from Susan, and Susan asked, what if I can't stand to do the wall press, the exercise that we posted last week, because I'm in a wheelchair? So Susan, if you're in a wheelchair, what I would suggest doing is when you come to the wall, I'm seated now in the chair, literally bring your chair up close enough to the wall so that you can lean into the wall with your torso without falling out of the chair. Now make sure you are locking your chair once you're close enough so that the chair is not going to move on you. And then you're going to simply execute that movement, that wall press, the same way you would if you were standing completely. You're going to lean into it so that you can create resistance, and you're going to slowly, let me get you so you can see it here, you're going to slowly press the body away, keeping that pressure leaned into that wall. If you want to make it harder, you simply take that chair back a little bit further away, always making sure you can hold yourself and you can reach the wall, not too far back so you don't fall out of the chair. But that's going to allow you to get the same leverage and line of press and resistance into those targeted muscles of the forearms and hands so that we can increase your grip strength even if you're sitting in a chair. Second question we had was from Frankie, who asked about which exercises can be performed to improve her anterior pelvic tilt. Now, Frankie, this is an excellent question because a lot of us live with an anterior pelvic tilt. Now, what that's typically due from or is caused by is a weak lower abdominal, hip flexors, and you see this pelvic tilt, hips back, just like that. By strengthening the lower abdominals and or hip flexors, as well as glutes, posterior chain, you're able to correct that pelvic tilt and or stay closer to a neutral position typically. So the exercises that we would suggest to help that are knee lifts, hip bridges, plank swims, leg raises, our pelvic tilt exercise. All exercises that can be executed at the privacy and comfort of your home through MSWorkouts.com. Now, exercising is just like brushing your teeth. It's not something, unfortunately, that you can do one time and expect to see the benefits forever. You have to continuously do it. That's why it's very important to make sure that you are on a regiment and executing it consistently, because over a period of time, when you apply the stimulus, then you vigorously focus on the recovery process, you gain the results. But then you must reapply so that you don't atrophy and lose the results that you've got. Now, with that being said, at MSWorkouts.com, you can access all of these exercises that help with that pelvic tilt, such as the knee lift, the hip raise, the pelvic tilt exercise, the bridge, the bodyweight squat, and we could go on and on with the exercises that will do so. And our classes allow you to execute these things in a regimented manner, so you have access to them on a regular basis so you get the most out of your exercise. Now, before I go ahead and get rocking here today, I'm going to explain what we're going to do. We're going to go a body weight squat. So this exercise is really for those of you that if you can't join our classes right now, we understand, okay? That's what these videos are for. So take advantage of these. But if you can, jump over, join our classes, because you're going to get so much more out of those regimented on a weekly basis and access to individual videos than you will just watching these. Now, let's get the most we can out of this video though. So we're going to go a bodyweight squat. I'm going to go and scoot back a little bit so you can see my entire body. We are going to execute a bodyweight squat, and I'm going to show you a couple variations of the exercise. So what we're going to do is I'm going to scoot back so you can get eyes on my heels. I'm going to bring my voice up a little bit. You're going to stay through your heels. You want to really focus on the placement of your knees the entire exercise. The weight's going to be through your heels, and we're going to isolate and focus on working our thighs as well as our rear end, and I'll also talk about the positioning of your pelvis during the movement. So let's go ahead. We're going to start in the standing position. Now this is a beginner portion or exercise of the bodyweight squat, we're going to actually what we call just an eccentric, which is just the lowering or lengthening of the muscles. So what we're going to do, you want your feet about shoulder width apart, turn toes slightly out, slight bend in the knees, stay through your heels. All we're going to do with a flat back is we're going to bend the hips back. Notice my tib fib, which is the bone of my lower leg between my knee and my ankle. It's not going to go forward. My weight's on my heels off my toes. I'm simply taking the weight back to a slight bend. I'm going to hold for 4 seconds, 3 seconds. I'm squeezing my thighs, my glutes. I'm going to slowly lower for 10 seconds or slower. My hips go back. The chair's there. Notice my knees aren't coming forward. I'm slowly lowering to the chair. Once I feel the chair, I'm going to relax. Now, if you can't lower at 10 seconds or slower, that's fine. What I mean by that is slight bend. We're going to hold for 4 seconds. Lower as slow as you can. If you lose your strength here and you end up falling into the chair, that's okay. What you want to do is try to control yourself all the way to the chair. If you have to do this in front of a counter in order to help yourself on the way down, use as little of that counter and or fixed object, like I'm using this fly rear delt machine, to slowly lower, thinking about flexing your thighs and your rear end all the way down to the bench. You relax, and then you'll reset. I would suggest ideally executing anywhere from 6 to 10 of these slow eccentric reps on the way down. That is going to strengthen your quads, your glutes, and start to add the overall stability around your pelvis that will allow you to eventually get that pelvic tilt back in line, add stability to the knees, the lower body, and it is one of the most important aspects of being functional. Once you progress to the point where you can lower for 10 seconds or slower all the way down to that chair, we'll progress to what we call a dynamic set. So we're working eccentrically and concentrically, the lowering and the raising of the body. So feet are shoulder width through the heels. If you want to keep a fixed object in front of you, you're more than welcome you can, or you're more than welcome to when you can. Drop the shoulders, back is flat. So let's initiate movement down. Hips go back, squeeze thighs, glutes. Now the reason I'm going slow is so my muscles can do the work. Hips are going back. Notice knees aren't coming forward. Pause at the bottom. I'm not relaxed right here. I'm flexing. Chair's just there. I felt it on my rim. I'm slowly going up. Don't go quick. Go slow so that the muscles can engage and do the work. Not going to lock it on the top. I'm going to pause. Now back down, back the other direction. In through the nose, out to the mouth, breathing freely, squeezing the abdominals. You're going to start to feel the thighs burn. Pause without relaxing. Through the heels, start to head the other direction. So think about heels, not balls of the feet. Knees back, back flat. Think about also pelvic tucked. This is the first time I mentioned it. Look at my pelvis here. What we don't want is this. We want your pelvis tucked to a neutral position as you come down. If you start to feel tension, notice it's extended now. Look at the little arch in my low back. You'll start to feel your erectors cramp. You want to tuck that pelvis just a bit to take the stress off that low back. Ideally, 7 seconds up, 7 seconds down to make sure the muscles are leading the movement. We're being measured. And you want to get to the point before 1:30 to 2:15 where you can no longer continue to move with proper form on the way up and those muscles are done. That means you left nothing on the table. You progressively overloaded, momentarily exhausted your targeted muscles, and that's going to lead to results. Now, keep in mind, you really want to make sure you keep the environment safe, adequate, and to par for an individual who's living with MS. Keep it cool. Get a fan on you. Make sure you're hydrated. If you have to give yourself rest in between, do so. You shouldn't be spending all day long doing these exercises. It's not about expending resources. It's about triggering adaptation in the body. So challenge yourself. If you're shaking, you're rattling, you're rolling, that's okay as long as you're not feeling joint pain and or heart rate's not too high. If you're taxing your body, that's a good thing. When your body is done, you'll know it's done. Some days are better than others while living with MS. Understand that. You take what you can and live to work and give back to the body another day. I'm going to be quiet for this week. I'm not going to say anything else. I know I can ramble because I'm passionate about this, because I care about getting results. But before I go, leave comments below. Let me know how you did with the bodyweight squat. Let me know what your questions were, what you felt, what you didn't feel, and what you thought about going slow, controlled, and letting the body work. Have an excellent week. Look forward to seeing you all next week. Don't forget to comment, and we will see you soon. Take care.